found a replacement.
Oh, he found
Just
the
found one in my
DKT.
cupboard. No, it's another QCK mass. I've got a replacement. Disaster averted. You can now commence the game, Chiefs and Vox Eminor. I'm glad they waited for me. It's good. We will see Chiefs starting out on the CT side here. Again, 4 armor, 1 kit in the hands of Lightstep and a HE grenade. So we'll see where they position him in between both sites. He is at long and they're actually going very aggressive at long. So whilst Vox was sitting up here in dark, Chiefs getting a lot of information as they peek out those long double doors and see that there's no one nearby, but really haven't reacted as a result. Vox still intend on taking their time. You can see 3 members are now going towards lower, so perhaps the mid to B's on the cards here. It does look as though that will be the case as they lay down a flash and a smoke to really aid their passageway out towards the B site. Pietro will now know off the information from his teammates that they are splitting onto the site. Does get 1 frag, taken down by Sito though as he busts through the window, and really Sito doing a fantastic job here because he's killed both of the B site players, and there's a bit of a gunfight going down here in mid, but at the end of the day, the bomb, it has been planted in B. A retake must come in here.
See it as Lightstep is going to just wait outside dark, and Chriso needs to get this frag here in the tunnel as Sicko does finally finish him off, and it's all to do for Lightstep. They are, Sicko at least, mortally wounded on this side as they've actually traded places, and Nova's now outside the site and is creating a bit of a nuisance, shooting Lightstep square in the side of the head as he was so duly distracted by Sicko.
Yeah, great work there by Sicko. I think the key thing for me was PDG, or Pietro's positioning, was great in the sense that he was able to take that fight quite safely with the players in dark, hiding behind the box there, but he was almost too far forward, rested up against the box that he was exposed to window. If he was to almost crouch back a few footsteps, he would have been safe from the window and at least bought himself a few extra seconds alive in the site, but did get taken down, and really Vox doing great work once they had that site control to close out the round despite the man disadvantage. But you can see here the strong pistols in the hands of Chiefs. They have done a little bit of damage to Cos here, but as Lightstep steps out into mid on his own from Catwalk, it's almost no surprise to see him falling down quite quickly.
Yeah, they were set up quite well for that. Vox Eminor now just taking picks all over the map there. Tux does get flashed out quite well. Moe just busting straight out those mid double doors and trying to get himself a frag nice and early, but no one from Chiefs is going to be peeking just yet. He does flash himself out. Tux does cop that flash nice and square in the face, but it's to no avail as Moe makes his way back into dark. That bomb, though, is making its way up into the A site. They have spotted out the head of Zeus here as he does fall to that AK. Now, Moe, on the other hand, is lurking out mid, just creating a nuisance for any rotating CTs. Pietro, though, time spent deagling in the matchmaking is serving him well as RBZ is just prevented from creating further nuisance in those double doors. Chriso, we've seen he'd be massive with that P250. He's going to try and pick up a frag for his team here as RBZ does finally find the flank on to PDG. And it's all to do here for Chriso at the top of mid. Does take the fight there, but Nova just clinical in his approach. A very clinical anti-eco there from Vox Eminor.
I like the fact from a Chiefs perspective that they didn't actually buy any or invest in any armor that round. It was just the pistols, which can be quite powerful and quite strong. We did see them get 2 frags, but it's really going to allow them more opportunities as we see them move into the first gun round next round. Again, they've just gone for a few pistols. So you can see the P250s nearly across the board. Just Tux with the default stock standard USP there. Obviously thinking perhaps about AWPing next round and wanting to maximise his economy, but I think of the back of boosting a few members into short. Pietro, as he tries to wrap around, gets caught off guard by the timing there. It does allow a terrorist, if they do quite quickly, to beat you to a ramp, and Pietro finding that out the hard way. Moe, though, proving a nuisance as he strays left and right and nabs himself a couple of frags. There's actually 3 for the round now, but I think that movement, very Source-esque. Left, right, left, right, left, right.
If you need a new mouse pad, he needs a new keyboard. But look, they have the round. They have the 3-0 up. They did successfully navigate the anti-ecos more successfully than Chiefs did on Cache. So they already have that 3-round advantage coming from winning the pistols. So crucial gun round here from Chiefs as they do dance with death across the double doors. Sicko only opting to carry that scout into this round.
Look at the positioning here. It's actually Chriso. He's actually pushed through lower dark off the back of that great smoke there by Xbox, blocking the vision of Sicko with that scout that you speak of. Chriso catches 1 member but does fall, but it's going to serve in, I guess, breaking up the offense or strategy that Vox had in mind. You can see them now slowed down the pace. They're almost having to double back and regroup themselves here, and they are at a numbers disadvantage because Lightstep did also nab one for himself as well. So definitely Chiefs will be happy with how this round has started. And Vox, they're going to need to recover here. You can see two of them making some noise towards B, but I'm more interested in what that third member, RBZ, is doing there at short. You can see that he is the solo man. He's scouting out a lot of different angles at the moment. He's watching mid doors, short, top mid in case there was a flank from long. And he's just relaying what he sees. At the moment, nothing, to his teammates to allow them to make the right late round call here. And it does look as though they will decide to head towards A here.
Yeah, that bomb, just being a journeyman, taking its way back through T-spawn. They will take control of the long bedroom. Tux does catch RBZ, just showing a little bit too much of his arm in short there. Now, they are giving obvious tells that they are heading long, as Zusi can do nothing about it. Either way, as Tux now has to defend this site from the incoming tees. He does find Sicko with that first AWP shot, and Lightstep is now going to flank and try and help his teammate Tux here, as Nova is now harassing that site. Should be easier. He does manage to pick up that frag in CT spawn though, before Lightstep can take him out of the game.
That's massive in the context, because that's the difference between 2 members and 3 members surviving from Team Chiefs. We always talked about that as the threshold, a minimum of 3 surviving, because it allows, I guess, the winning team there the opportunity to drop guns to the team. You can see the impact we're talking about. Chriso just with the pistol. No one able to afford to drop him a proper rifle here. So definitely in terms of early utility that we look at across both teams, Vox well placed here with 5 rifles in hand compared to just the 4 of Team Chiefs. That split second was the difference between having Chriso with a gun in hand and Chriso with the 5.7 in hand.
As they will resume normal operations here. Chriso's got himself in a good position considering the weaponry he does have, so he's at least utilising his position there, recognising that he's not at an advantage at all with just a pistol. So Vox Eminor though are poised, ready for that flash to come out the mid double doors, and Zusi's in a great position, ready for this though. So as you see him over the smoke there, he's going to really be the thorn in the side of this mid to B, as that second smoke does great work there. He does find Sicko quite easily there, does prevent another from getting in the double doors, RBZ, and starts shooting his teammate for good measure as well, just in case he didn't know that you could be seen through that smoke. Now just Nova left in this B site. Great work from Pietro picking up the last 2, but that position from Zusi was key to winning that round.
Great play there, obviously boosted on the box. It just gives you that elevation above the smoke, so he picked up 2 members. But can I just point out, I loved the response from the B player there on Chiefs side, Pietro. When the mid to B was going down, Zusi, of course, would have been calling that smokes and flashes were coming out mid, and there was certainly presence, but the B player's response, Pietro actually left the side alone to help nullify that mid presence, picked up 2 frags, and in the end, it meant that everyone could focus on that last member in B as, I guess, as a unit there. So really working well to, instead of having to deal with 2 battles at once, focus and eliminate one side of the forces. Great teamwork and great call there. We can see Vox, they are on a pistol buy here, so their economy's broken, and Lightstep has a nade in hand, so as he sees Koze walking out mid, there's only limited things he can do until the weaponry at least comes out into his hands. But Koze does now get taken down, and Vox busting very quickly here along catwalk, and a great shot by Nova, the young gun, using the detour to his advantage, and it's really going to allow his team to do a plant in here. So we're in a 4-on-4. They are limited in their after plant positions here. They've really got short control, but not much else as they hold the site. So as Chiefs start to come up from CT and start to come from long, Vox will find themselves under a bit of pressure here with a lot of forces looking in their direction. Moe steps out, can't quite connect just yet, and really, as the flash grenades coming in, this is surely going to signal the end of the round because there's just that many people waiting, but Vox doing a great job here of getting the Dom diffuser. I think it's RBZ who does take down Lightstep, who was on the bomb, and all of a sudden, in a 3-on-4 situation, not enough cover there for the planter, seemingly just leaving him on his own on an island, and Vox somehow claim another eco round. That's 4 for the night, and I'll keep this tally going.
I feel like they needed a meat shield in that situation because the planter was left very exposed there. They did take the wide angles for the fight though, so I'm surprised to see them not actually felling them quite quickly or quickly enough. And that's really what cost them there, is their inability to frag the guys despite having the angle advantage on short there. They had the terrorists had to pick wide angles to get to that diffuser, and they still managed to do so. The Sicko grabs a nice handy double.
RBZ strafed out and was seemingly getting those shots off onto the diffuser without any sort of danger. He wasn't even getting tagged.
Pietro here does spot out one in that tunnel. Oh, it takes the second man, but not the first. Mo would be frustrated with that frag for sure. Now, it's all to do here for Chriso, as we saw Chiefs force that buy, so this round loss will see them on eco, no doubt, and And even more strife if Chris doesn't manage to save this gun, as RBZ does find him quite quickly. So Chiefs here in a bit of trouble.
I'm just getting the feeling at the moment that they almost want this match to be over. I don't know why that would possibly be the case at 5-2 or 4-2 as it was a few seconds ago before the round ended when we were watching them, but just doesn't seem quite right at the moment. They're just losing so many rounds in which they shouldn't. They're force buying quite a lot. Probably ill-advised in some scenarios. I'm not sure why they'd force buy off the back of Vox winning an eco rounds and having a lot of strong weaponry when Chiefs certainly would not. You can see it's forced their hand here. They do have just pistols, and Moe seemingly makes his way out mid with no sort of trouble at all because he strolls through the B window there and takes down Pietro, and this will be another round going Vox's ways. They will get the planted B. You can see Chiefs here coming through T-spawn, so much where their opponents started about 1 minute ago, that's where they now find themselves. But Moe is just running all over the map and just continuing where he left off on Case, just ripping heads off at the moment.
So he really has been a thorn in the side. Now we predicted Sicko to be the one to do the heavy lifting, but Moe is showing us he's still capable, very capable indeed, as he now does find Zusi there, not able to get away. Another Mac 10 frag for him there. Take a quick look at this scoreboard as Vox is starting to really streak away in this map.
I'm also wondering whether this is potentially a reflection, this current state on Dust 2 of Chiefs knowing that their hopes of perhaps winning the competition are now over. They would have known coming into tonight that they needed to 2-0 each of these two series. Having lost that first map on Case, I'm just wondering whether that's playing in their mind at the moment. You can see them now. They are on another eco, trying to build up the economy, but the downside here is that these rounds are just quickly getting away from them on the scoreboard. It's 6-2 at the moment. Tux does get a nice frag there, but can't quite get the second as RBZ does prove to be the stronger, and I think he might soon find himself with a double for the rounds, and he does just have that as Chriso also falls at his hands. And 7-2, the score will currently read. Pietro, the sole remaining member at B site, has the D2 in hand and some light armor. Maybe he'll be thinking about trying to save that moving into the next round, or maybe he'll just be after a couple of D2 frags to make himself feel a little bit better given the circumstances.
He does spot Moe there. Doesn't actually connect a shot though. 7 bullets. Unable to find him a frag in that situation. But now the score is really streaking away from Team Chiefs. They need to get themselves back into this match. And as we see, they've picked up a double orb setup here. They've got Chiefs Lightstep and Chiefs Tux, both rocking those orbs. So very expensive investment here, which could backfire on them if it doesn't go the way that they planned. So that economic damage as a result of investing so heavily on orbs could be the price that they ultimately pay. RBZ plays a dangerous game with Tux there in the mid. Just now really slowing things down. Vox Eminor have control of mid and lower dark, but really CTs have just been locked out of having any information on what the Ts are doing.
Yeah, Dust 2, definitely a map that lends itself quite well to the double AWP setup if you've got two players that are quite proficient with it, as certainly Tux and Lightstep are. But I like this NOA stack coming in here. The double stack at mid doors, of course, we're referring to, but they can't quite connect the shots, and as they try to bail, they actually sidestep across the doors, giving Sicko free line of sight onto them. He gets the frag there onto Pietro. Surely they would have doubled back around to the left corner there and not exposed themselves, but as it is, they've lost a member there, and Vox again find themselves the opening. Despite having a couple of players low at HP, they have the man advantage. You can see the defense really stretched here. There's 2 at B and 2 at A, and it's meant that Tux has a lot of responsibility here on his shoulders as they do make their way up short. Sicko again, second frag for the round with the AWP. There's one of the AWPers down that we spoke of from the Chiefs' perspective, and they will find their way into Catwalk here, into the A site, and there's really no defense to speak of. Moe gets a frag in mid, and all of a sudden Vox have complete control of yet another round. I would have liked, as we see here, a 2-on-4 and probably Chiefs saving, would have liked to see Chiefs perhaps using a tactical pause before that gun round, knowing that they'd ecoed a few times and would come in clearly into a make-or-break round with the double AWP setup. I think perhaps a pause beforehand would have served them well.
I agree on this in the sense that they made a massive decision to invest in 2 AWPs, and if you're going to do that, definitely a tactical pause is something you would explore. They haven't used one tonight on their first map, so perhaps not aware. Susi is going to burn in that Molotov as RBZ finally finishes him off there. Just now that 1 cult remaining until Sicko has something to say about it.
I must admit, I don't buy that excuse, the not aware thing. I think that certainly all teams should certainly be aware. In almost every competition, you're allowed that tactical pause each map. It's been clearly stated within the rule set that every team was provided. So I'm not quite a believer in the not aware. I think perhaps in the moment, forgetting that it might be a viable option or not recognizing it would be a good time is perhaps a more realistic explanation. But we see Siko there, does get an early frag, but Moe will be the key one to watch here because 3 CTs charging dark. He's got 1, but he wants some more, but will have to settle for 1 as he does get taken down here. You can see clearly the intent of Chiefs is to bring the aggression to Vox. They're desperate for an answer here at 8-2 down. It's worked so far in the extent that they have got 2 frags. Unfortunately, though, they've lost 2 members as well, but look at this positioning here from Tux.
Yeah, Tux on a great flanking opportunity there. Does miss his shot on Siko, though. So, Siko now knows that they are close to him. Chris has position in the AWP here, or in the pit, should I say, as Siko is just trapped at the moment, but because they're able to bail him out with a parafrag of sorts. Not often you see that gun used as Siko just tiptoeing around as the floor is lava. And doesn't quite make it out of the hut there. And Cosy does come face to face, opting to change to an M4A1S, getting his team around and 9-2 the score.
Yeah, the Negev frag there from Kozia. I mean, certainly on face value, and certainly if you read beneath the lines there, I think that's definitely a bit of mind games coming out there. We've heard some rumours and murmurings of perhaps a little bit of tension between these two teams in the lead up to tonight's match. Some perhaps water boiling beneath the surface there, and I think that Para making its appearance is certainly a reflection of that. Perhaps Vox relishing the opportunity that they are beating Chiefs quite decisively here as well on the second map. It is 9-2. We have seen 1 exchange for each team. It is a 4-on-4 situation. You can see the compromised buy coming out with Lightstep, having a scout in hand, Chris Awell with the UMP as well. So they're doing all they can at the moment to really give themselves a chance at winning these rounds. They don't want to give up anymore. Great work there by Lightstep and A getting a scout kill, but really, they don't need to do some more here to stop that push into A site. Zusi hiding behind that smoke with great effect there. Takes down Moe, who's really been an ever-present threat there in mid. And this is starting to look promising for them. It is all left up to Siko. He's in the site though, and as Pietro hears that bomb noise getting laid down, he will communicate to his team that Siko's in mid, or in the A site rather, in the middle of it. And you can see him jumping up and down, doing his best Cookly impersonation, or I think some people refer to it as Carly. Certainly in Australia, we like to say Cookly. Jumping up and down. Of course, there'll be no similarities in the form of any assistance being provided to these players. It's just purely the jumping up and down which we're referring to.
Glad you bailed yourself out there with that.
No, just purely talking about the movement, Jim. Just the movement.
Of course.
Nothing else.
But look, they need to get themselves in to this game and string more than just 1 round together as we look at the scoreboard. They haven't really strung more than 2 rounds together early on in the piece. Obviously taking the first gun round there, but since then they really haven't had any success against Vox Eminor. So, crucial here that they don't lose this round, as their money situation again will come into factor. As Siko just picking up Lightstep, pushing into that mid quite early in the piece, and no opportunity for a reply either from Chiefs. Didn't really set themselves up for that. As Moe makes his way into the B site, Pietro not covering all of his angles there and seemingly unaware completely as to what was happening. Now, they're going to make their way all the way through mid, and Chris is able to pick up 1, but it's all seemingly in vain as Vox Eminor just make their getaway into this B site. Siko with another massive AWP frag for his team, but it's fast running away from Zusi here, who's just sitting at the top of mid and really can't do too much for his team to win this round, and will just try and save his gun here. Vox Eminor just looking much stronger in every aspect. Mid control early on is just key to this map, and Vox Eminor are nailing it.
They're doing just that, but they're certainly getting some assistance, I think, from Chiefs. I mean, this is the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen Lightstep step out into mid from catwalk on his own and really try to take a battle that is ever so difficult to win. When you step out from short, you can see Zusi here. He will have a battle here on his sleeve, but when you step out from catwalk, there are so many angles to check. There's top right of mid, top left. You've got to worry about Xbox and lower dark just beneath you as well. It's ever so difficult to consistently win that exchange. Good work, though, by Zusi getting 2 frags and surviving.
Nearly a third.
Nearly a third. Nearly died, but in the end, he'll be happy that he survived. But Chiefs are just making it too easy for Vox at the moment. I'd just like to see them either all play aggressive together as a unit or all play back in the sites, but not just walking out into mid 1 at a time or just playing this solo game where you're having almost taking it upon yourself to try and win this map in impossible scenarios. It's now 10-3 the score. The best they can hope to salvage out of this half will be 10-5. Pietro with a nice deedle frag there, but Zusi This is better in the sense that whilst he does tip out to mid like I'm talking about, they did have lower dark control. There were two other members there in the form of Tux and Zusi. So, did have teammates nearby. You can see that it's almost forced Fox's hand here to move up long. And Zusi now waiting for us. He has rotated back. I think our GoTV might have skipped a little bit perhaps because
mine's fine.
No, mine might have just fast forwarded a little bit. But in any case, we can see the battle still raging on in A. RBZ will get that frag and turn it into a 2-on-2. And as the bomb gets planted here, Chiefs retake steals will be put to the sword.
Put to the sword, as you say. Perhaps backing Vox Eminor to hold this site, but they haven't got the bomb down just yet. That bomb has just made its way and crossed into the A site. Just light step there. Engaging with Moe in a scout versus AWP battle. And it won't be long before Moe turns his attention to long there, just recognising Pietro on the flank. And a lot to do for Lightstep for his team in this situation. Given that he only has a scout, Moe has an AWP and RBZ and AK. RBZ's HP could be a massive factor here, though, as he does get taken down early. And Moe, his bread and butter right there, takes him down, extending Vox Eminor's lead.
We can't point out more enough how well Moe's been playing tonight. I mean, on case she dropped 37 or 38 frags. Again, leading from the front. He's got 17 already on this first half. He's an absolute machine at the moment. He's certainly turned his game around. We just hope we could see this consistency from him a little bit more often because when he is firing, it's ever so dangerous. Great job by Sigurd there. The headshot through the door, ticking off every box there with the AWP as he does open up the exchange there for Vox Eminor. And because they're exploiting the fact that I think Chiefs were a little bit late or tentative to getting across mid after the fact that Sigurd did get that frag because they found their way into B, really contesting one member who was also trying to get into B at the same time. And just another round falling apart. This is very, very quickly going to be ending in a 12-3 fashion as Zusi, last man alive, has got one, but they know where he is now and they will surely take him down. And who better to do that job than Moe himself as he finishes with 18 for the half. 12-3. The upset, the 2-0, it's brewing.
It is brewing, but I don't hear a fat lady singing just yet. There is a second half still to come, and Chiefs really need to, as you say, grind away at things. They need to set those miniature goals. They need to set themselves a task at hand. Just getting one round at a time to get themselves back into this match.
Jim, they're cooked, mate. This is done.
You've done a sponge and called it early.
Yeah, I've learnt from him. I've learnt from the best. This is done. But in all
Chad
sincerity,
would have called it earlier, to be fair.
It just seems, I mean, you can only read so much when you're watching player models run around the screen, but they just seem a little bit mentally out of it at the moment. I think they would have been so disheartened with how they lost Keish, and as they get picked apart again there, it just seems as though all is not well within the Chiefs camp. Again, Moe just ripping heads off wherever he seemingly chooses at the moment. Chrisowell does a good job there getting 2 frags though, so still some life yet in Chiefs. They are in a 3-on-2 situation as Tux leads the charge up the A ramp. Trying to open up the A side. He's having a little bit of difficulty here though. Look how long Nova's surviving. How is he still alive? He's actually managed to get out of the site with 3 members shooting. Eventually, Chris, please help us, does take him down and finishes with the 4th in the end there. So good work by Chriso. Good work by Chiefs. Somehow Nova survived for as long as he did, but some life still in Chiefs camp just yet, it looks like.
Yeah, getting the pistol around there and perhaps getting some much needed momentum here. Now they need to deal with this anti-eco, as we do see Chiefs head towards that B site quite heavily, and only 2 members of Vox Eminor there. Fairly standard play on the anti-eco. A grenade coming in quite early, but they're going to bust straight into this site. They do pick up the first 2 frags, which are key in this, and Tux is continuing to run straight out of the site, and engaging in long-distance firefights with SMGs is probably against all better advice, but Tux is making it close and personal. Sicko does flash himself momentarily before he's able to get 1 frag, and it's not long before Chriso straight in with that shotgun.
Jim, in all honesty, you tell me one serious answer here in terms of when is that ever a good idea to charge for the B side and keep hunting for frags like we just saw Tux doing? When is that possibly a good idea? He did get taken down the end. I think he got 3 or 4 for the round, but how is that ever going to end well for you? I mean, the chances of getting all 5 surely have to outweigh the reality of the fact that you will die by doing that. How can you possibly say that's a good thing watching that?
Yeah, look, it's just perhaps an indicator of their mindset at the moment. Just keen to get things over and done with in that sense. And they are just going unrelentingly onto this A site. Now, they do finally find the frag in the site, and they're getting a double with the Tech 9 on the A site cross, but still a long way to go for Chiefs to get back in this match. They need more gun rounds. As we said, the anti-ecos are one beast, but now the gun rounds are going to come into play.
Well, certainly. I hope for their sake, for Team Chiefs, they do upgrade their weaponry a little bit, because shotguns probably aren't going to do it now that Vox are well equipped, in the sense that they have a lot of rifles. They even have an AWP in the hands of Sicko as well. So you can see, I like this from Vox in terms of trying to take control of mid here. And they do get 2 frags there, or I thought a second. They got 1 there by Nova, but Zeusy tagged ever so low, and the second member there falling away from short without getting that trade frag onto him. So what should have really been a nice start for Vox, it's now an even ledger still.
Yeah, look at that rotation coming out from Vox Eminor. They have 3 members on this A site taking control of long. Still convinced they're very vulnerable at this point to A, mid to B, but Moe's pushing, getting a lot of information by doing so. Pietro's just lying in wait, and they're going to come to a head very soon, as Pietro does actually come out the victory in that. Now he has control of long. Obviously he doesn't realise that just yet, but more importantly, he has a frag and they have the man advantage. They are going to take that bomb in towards short and just try and punch their hole into that site. There's only one man holding that site though, and that is Sicko, and he's been quite on point with this AWP, as they do find him out in that site. Zeusy with that crucial A frag and opening things up now. He does find a reply there on the flank, just troubling Chiefs getting into this site. Does a great job of picking up a second frag as well, and now Lightstep has to go 1-on-2 with both members of Vox Eminor still on great HPs, as that Molotov is going to flush him out of the site. Does hit a great shot on Dekosi though, and is aware that RBZ is lurking quite close. He did hear him fire that AK in that situation. RBZ just content to jump over the boxes there. Needs to hit the shot, doesn't do so. RBZ streaking around the corner.
I might just point out, I'm not sure he fired an AK so much as threw a flash grenade in his own face. I think that's what that little pop was that you might have heard there, because he had a Colt in hand. I think it was his own team flash that might have been that little pop. But in any case, he stepped away around the A ramp there.
Definitely shot his own Colt.
Yeah, okay. In any case, he did get that frag there behind the barrel. So good work by Vox in closing it out. But you can tell with only one member surviving, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to be able to afford, I guess, all the weaponry and utility that they would like. Moe's already had to make a sacrifice in getting a FAMAS here, and you can see Chiefs sharing around the weapons quite generously.
And they are putting early pressure on long, so at least utilising their spawn somewhat, just putting pressure on the A site as they finally overcome their confusion to get that boost happening now into A. So in the meantime, Chiefs have redistributed themselves across. Sicko does get a tag onto Tux at the top of mid, through the smoke and the door, so Tux is going to have to approach things a little bit more cautiously. In fact, he's gone straight into long to try and get that pick onto the site. They have actually given up complete long control to Chiefs as well, so consolidating in other areas. Vox Eminor. Zeusy though, caught with his flash or smoke out for the second frag there, as Moe just charged through the doors. Trading quite well here, Vox Eminor. That grenade is going to do some serious damage. Oh, didn't quite do the damage anticipated, but that bomb will go down. The Molotov though is going to stem things momentarily, and they do get it down, but the HPs of Vox Eminor here may play a factor.
Well, that's right. You can see that Sicko and RBZ, we've already spoken about the fact that they took a lot of damage very early on, and it's definitely played a factor, at least not so much in their retake of the site, but more so in their decision to retake the site. They've all bolted towards B. I'd be surprised if Chiefs chase them, to be honest. I think given that Chiefs had lost last round, they don't have much money between them as it is at the moment. So I think we're probably going to find ourselves in a situation where all 7 players who are currently surviving are content really just to not see any more action. I like the way that Chiefs, though, were able to get quite deep into the sites. They inflicted a lot of early damage, particularly onto RBZ. And I think that played in Vox's minds, really. They were quite tentative after that, and it allowed Chiefs really to creep up on them and capitalise on the A site, and putting a lot of pressure on Team Vox 7. So certainly want to see more from that, more of that out of Team Chiefs here. 7-13, still a fair way to go from them.
Yeah, still a fair way to go. They have a long way to get back into this match, so obviously they're going to just try and grind it out one round at a time and try and re-establish some pride here as Sicko picks up their first frag. Despite being flashed, the Tux will be feeling a little bit hard done by in that sense, so now they are just going to redistribute themselves across the sites here, opting for a little bit more mid-control as we see 2 of them in lower dark. Sicko still roaming free with that AWP on that A site. That mode to be smoke will come out from Moe, just sitting at the doors there. Will flash his way out. Does catch Lightstep before he's quickly traded by Zeusy there. Great work from him entering that site They do have control of the B site. Pietro does find a frag across the map there, lurking in mid, and now Nova and Sicko just trapped and locked out of this site momentarily.
That's right. You can see that Sicko has the AWP. Nova has managed to recover a M4A1S as well, so I think they'll be happy to save these weapons. You saw the damage that they could do very early on as well as Sicko, who had saved the AWP previously, did get the opening frag there, but great work by Chiefs. I like the mid to B as well, recognising that the AWP of Sicko was quite deep at A. I mean, it was spotted very early on at long, so by throwing those mid to B smokes, it had obscured his vision completely and allowed them to really close the distance on the two B players there. So I did like that call from Chiefs. I think a bit of variation as well. I think that's the first time we've really seen them this half really exploiting mid so much as we did just then, but 8-13 the score currently reads. I'll be interested to see what decision Vox make in terms of purchasing here. They did save two weapons. Now, normally, particularly when one of those weapons is an AWP, that's normally a key trigger that will be force buying this round. But given the fact that they really tried that trick once just then, they will make a decision now to have the other three members really eco and build up their economy, looking forward to a full buy across the house, perhaps next round.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if perhaps I would have done the same thing. Probably not, to be honest. I was probably more of the side of force buying in that scenario with the weapons at hand. But in any case, Chiefs, they've had success at B the previous site. They'll try the hand again. Zusi doing a great job in getting two frags there and opening up the site once again. Proving tremendous and proving that even when his team aren't winning, he can still consistently get the frags. Crusoe does cover his teammate there, who is getting the bomb down. And Pietro is seemingly deciding he'd like to stand in some flames for a little bit.
Yeah, everything's fine. As they do retreat now. Sicko and Cozzy just saving their utility in the form of guns and just setting up a crossfire there. Chiefs will just exit this site. Chiefs, though, just fighting their way back into this match. It'll be 13-9 to score, but they still have a long way to go yet. Even more so that Chiefs, or should I say Vox Eminor, keep saving these guns, keep stimulating their economy quite well. So they're not on the ropes just yet. They do find two frags as well, so that's great work from them, just putting a little bit more pressure on Chiefs' economy.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first times tonight that we've really seen the normal Chiefs' heart and spirit and fight coming out of them. It's been a long time coming, and saving it for what is eventually the last half of this series tonight. It's a little bit late, I think, for it to be emerging for the first time, but you can see the pressure that's been applied. Sicko does take a shot there. He was blind, but he's already had success in that same fashion earlier on, but not to be the case now. Chiefs, after those few flashes, did slow down the pace, perhaps just trying to push Sicko back without necessarily showing themselves. But Vox still intent on holding control of long. So as Chiefs now do come out, off the back of perhaps a few ill-placed flashes, because Nova wasn't blind at all there, does get one frag, tags Pietro down very low as well, as he does himself though. So both players take a few hit, damage points there. They find themselves around 20 points apiece, but Vox doing quite well and still maintaining that map territory and forcing Chiefs back, forcing their hand here.
Yeah, Moe just anchoring that B site so well as Cossi just picks up a nice frag there. Gets the bomb down in mid as well. Moe cleaning up Zusi and up at dark, and things are just falling apart now for Chiefs as Vox start to push their foot down on the back of their throat. Now, Tux has it all to do in the upper dark here. Does miss his shot onto Moe in the back of platform there. And will be forced to retreat momentarily. He only has 25 seconds to work with. He doesn't have that bomb in his possession. And it's not long before Sicko finds him out there. Vox Eminor on the precipice of going 2-0 against Chiefs. A really monumental feat for these guys.
Well, that's right. We said they're a new team. They've only been here 2 or 3 weeks, and whilst they had success earlier on this season against Trident, they haven't yet had that big breakthrough victory as a team. Well, tonight, this could be it. They've already taken one map, but they're, like you say, only 2 rounds away from perhaps claiming that 2-0 win, and I think that'll mean so much to these guys. They're desperate to get that lead up on Chiefs. There is a bit of a rivalry brewing between these two teams. You can see that Sicko does again get the early frag with that AWP. We pointed out he can be such a danger with it. And again, he's got a second frag actually. So whilst the bomb has now been planted in A, it's left up to 3 members here. And Nova's trying to make it 1 less as he does put out Zusi at long, tags him and forces him back. They only now need to worry about the site, but Chiefs are not well positioned for this. Zusi's in the side on his own, but no other support nearby that you can really see. Pietro there. Nifty little spot there on the box, actually does catch one member off guard, but Nova takes him down in the end. We're down to a 3-on-2 situation. You can see both Chiefs members really camping out at the stairwell there, and as they're taken down, there is enough time just left on the bomb there for Sicko to get that defuse in. So 15-9, They've got 6 match points here to what could be their first big win as a team here, and keeping their season's dreams alive. We said that the loser, it was all over, but the winner, that dream still remains.
Yeah, Vox really not wanting to let this slip to a draw at all. They want maximum points from this encounter, and as we said, it will keep their season hopes alive and just keep that pressure on Team Immunity to need to keep winning, at least in sense of their last match. So they are going to enter this B site quite quickly. RBZ doing a great job of holding things down as they do manage to stand and flow with that smoke. Moe on the platform though picks up Lightstep and will pick up second as well, so he is holding strong. That is it. Vox Eminor take this matchup 2-0, and certainly against yours and mine expectations and that of